Let's talk about constitutional due process. Due process is a Fifth Amendment right applied by the 14th Amendment to state and local governments. There are two very different concepts called due process. Procedural due process has some basic requirements. Procedural due process requires the government to follow fair procedures during depriving a person of life, liberty, or property. At a minimum, this includes notice. The person must be told what the government is doing. Opportunity to be heard. The person must have a chance to present their side, usually in a hearing. A neutral decision maker. The hearing must be conducted by someone who is impartial. Additional requirements may include access to evidence, right to counsel, right to cross-examine witnesses, a written decision explaining the outcome. Now, procedural due process is required for all civil and administrative actions in addition to criminal matters for both misdemeanor and felony offenses. The exact requirements vary depending on the situation. More is required when the stakes are higher and less when the issue is minor. All of the requirements are codified and most have extensive histories of use. Then there's substantive due process. This is the idea that the Constitution protects certain rights so deeply rooted that the government can't violate them, even with fair procedures. The first major case to use this idea was Dred Scott v. Sanford in 1857. In that case, the Supreme Court said Congress could not ban slavery in U.S. territories because doing so would violate a slaveholder's right to property under the Fifth Amendment Due Process Clause. That was the court's first use of substantive due process, saying that some rights, like owning property, are so fundamental they can't be taken away, even by a law that allows proper steps. The decision itself is deeply flawed, morally wrong, but it introduced the concept that due process protects more than fair procedures. It protects certain fundamental rights from government interference. The idea would grow over time, shaping later rulings on economic freedom and eventually privacy and personal liberty. So, quick restatement. We've got two due processes. One deals with the steps you take for handling specific types of taking by the government. The other one is, this right is so important, says the judge, that the government can't take your right from you. And then that judge decides what right that is. You think about it. I'm going to think about it. I've been thinking about this one since law school. Have a great day. Look forward to seeing you again.